I've got blue souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Count my bones as in desert crumbs blown. I'm gonna turn all of my stones.
Rock bottom make a man and some pressure make a gemstone. Try to put $1 to my name like Creflo. Niger boy, late to the game, it's in the blood flow. And I'm from the south, it's thick skin and tough bone. Big attitude through big lips with gusto. Trust no kings, that's why they tried to crush souls. But it's IGBO, when the dust blow, this old head be standing there. No silver, just gold. Crack no books on the hustle, I was born to grind. Yo, scared of your potential, I'm adorned with mine. 30 times around the sun, man, of course I shine. My legacy will not dwarf with time. And in my daughter's eyes, it's basic, I must not say quit. Every day sees a present like a Rob St. Nick. Walk a fine line between tenacious and patient. I can't slip, I'm fighting clocks and they can't win.
I've got bruised souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Count my bones as in desert crumbs flow. I'm gonna turn all of my stones. I've got bruised souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Who that soldier in the mirror? Oh, oh. I'm gonna turn all of my stones.
Impeccably I flow, hardest raps you know, breaking status quo, reaping what I sow, artistry like Django, get it from my mama hip, so thick that I need tempo, personality, spicy body banging like a bongo, cause black women been it since Timbuktu and Sparrow, sponge rollers and hot combs, lips, cheeks and brow bones, if you ain't for the culture then please stay out of my zone, these little dummy rappers could never grace my headphones, see I'm from a place in space where ain't no storytelling, you just had to have been there, if you want the battle ain't no problem, say where, I got so much experience I can't even play fair, but I'ma keep evolving and growing and hurting feelings and showing you need endurance to go in, I got mileage on this pen, I've been busy cause I've been out here schooling all these kids, took 3 decades to have this glow up that I did.
I've got bruised souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Count my bones as in desert crumbs flow. I'm gonna turn all of my stones. I've got bruised souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Who that soldier in the mirror? Oh, oh. I'm gonna turn all of my stones.
checking shoes last night to see if he was barefoot. Is that still the case? Is he barefoot? Because I know on Facebook somebody posted a picture of these could be his shoes, or is that so he is presumed to be barefoot at this point?
What I can say is that his mom says all of his shoes are accounted for at the house. I'm not going to say that he's barefoot.
All right.
Allegedly! Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here coming at you with another raw narrative. Here's a brief disclaimer for tonight's show. Let's watch.
That's ignorant! Allegedly, that's ignorant! Ignorant.
Judgment, Aslı.
Boy, you read my thoughts. You've got the shinin.
You mean shining?
Shh! You wanna get sued?
Judgment, Aslı.
You just use that shin of yours to call me and I'll come a running. But don't be reading my mind between 4 and 5. That's Willie's time.
Hey, yo, boss. I love it when he does that.
Let's watch.
Don't get me back to good bullshit.
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here coming at you with another raw narrative, and it's so good to see all of you tonight. Carla, I'm so sorry I was reading the chat, but I was going back and forth kind of setting everything up, and I realized that you're not feeling well, so you're headed to the doctor, and I'm sorry to hear that, and we'll be praying for you too. I hope you kind of maybe you could listen a little bit while you have to wait, or I do have to catch up with the messages. And thank you, GA64, for the green hearts as well. I did, we're having a pajama party tonight. So I thought it would be hilarious if I made myself a new avatar. I just remembered that I put it in here. So I hope you enjoy it. I definitely do not look like that in my pajamas. And I definitely don't have my hair down. I couldn't find the lady that I liked with the pajamas, so I just pick that lady. Um, oh, Carla, I'm so sorry. Aw. I'm glad you're gonna go in though, and thank you for hitting it. Thanks for hitting the like button, Carla. I appreciate you. Thanks, GA64. I know. Hey, Cinderella. Those birds are so smart, and parrots are so smart, and they're also very demanding of time. It's funny. They're very intelligent birds. GA64 says, I'm in my pajamas. Me too, GA64. And honestly, it's been a long day. And I also, finding out that the cameras were jammed longer than I knew about too. So I was kind of looking into that. I wanted to make another video. So I've just been going and going today. And I didn't have time to get ready, so I just I made a silly avatar with the lady. Um, oh, good. Yeah, soup is the best. When people are sick, soup is the best. Even if it's just like broth and stuff is so good. Just to kind of keep yourself hydrated. Hey, Ann Reynolds. Aw, it's Carla, that's so sweet. She said, I just need Lady and my friends here. You all give me strength. That's so sweet. Thank you, Carla. Yeah, and I love that we could be there for all, each other. Because we do talk about some crazy topics here. We certainly do. And then also, you guys put up with me putting out silly content as we go along. Aw. Yeah, no, it's probably a good idea to go though, just to make sure, especially if you're feeling really crummy, because maybe they'll give you something to make you feel better. Brenda says, I'm here for the PJ party. Yay, I'm so glad. And I'm sorry I was in the back here looking at stuff, and I had everything pretty well set up. I found a video, and it's a guy that shows us how to make a camera jammer. And I'm sitting here saying to myself, do I really want to be looking all of this illegal stuff up? And he's calling it a project. Um and it certainly is one. There's a lot to it, but not for someone who is educated on the subject, if that makes sense. Hey, Chuchi, good to see you. So that's why I was having so much trouble with it, right? Kind of wrapping my brain around it. Okay, this piece does this, and this attaches to this network, and then my brain turns to mush. Hey, Adam Forever 21. So I figured if you guys want to, I have a couple of tabs open for Google. If you guys want me to search a question, we can kind of research together. I did do some research. Now there's different ways that you can jam up electronics in general. So like a cell phone, for instance, is going to be a little bit different, right? Than if we're talking about like security cameras. Also, if it's hardwired, if the camera is hardwired, then the jammer, doesn't work because it's really just jamming up the Wi-Fi signals, right? And since it's hardwired camera, it doesn't have to have a signal from Wi-Fi. That's why it doesn't work on there, if that makes sense. But again, if you guys have questions, I can just type them into Google. We can look it up and see what we find. I'm a little hesitant to play a whole lot of videos, but I do know that, like the news videos, there was a couple that I noticed that were talking about it, and it's just criminals obviously trying to rob people for the most part. They're just basically trying to rob people. And that's what they use to jam up the works, right? Somebody was in a mall doing it. You know what I mean? So, hey, perfectly imperfect boy mom. Yes. I hope you guys have. I tried to put an array of snacks into the emojis there for the title. So you can pick your snack out of there or add one. I put bacon up there because we are talking about Craddock. Oh, I actually did forget to, I think, add the background for the party. Hello, see, I'm all over the place today. But nevertheless, I did look up some of this stuff before, and I mean a long time ago. I was under the impression that the cameras were jammed up, right? But that they were, how do I say it, not jammed for as long as they were jammed for, if that makes sense. So I didn't anticipate them being jammed or that long. Oh, sorry. I might be over here echoing. All right. Uh-oh, there's two Lady Freedoms up there. That's creepy. Okay. I'm just adding something in, guys, to the background. So just bear with me a second here. There we go. Okay. There. And that frees my phone up a little bit too because I can check things on there. Hey, Valley Gal. Good to see you, little Miss Sharon. Thank you for being here. Um, I know. I understand, Carla. I'm the same way about doctors. I really am. I'm like, oh, if I don't absolutely have to go, or urgent care too, because it is, it's hard at an ER late at night. Um, Brenda was paging me. Uh-oh. Lady Freedom to the office, please. Yes, I think it's a good idea to go, Carla, especially if you're not feeling well at all. That's no good. You know, COVID and stuff has been going around. A lot of people have had it. A lot of people. All right, here, let me switch this background really quick to our party. All right, there we go. Got that lady in her pajamas. I think that's Billie Eilish in her pajamas, and then I think that lady's eating a fruit roll-up thing. I don't know. That guy made me laugh. I thought of all of our guys that we have in here, you know, like Trent, and we got Mark Klein and Napanoch Father. He came in last night, so I'm like thinking of those guys. I put that guy on there. So well, see, that's my problem, Ann Reynolds. Ann Reynolds says, "I'm always in my pajamas unless I get dressed." Well, and see, I didn't get dressed today. I just stayed. I have owl pajamas on, and I actually have a Socket to Cancer shirt on. It's very, very old. I've had it for a really long time. I did Relay for Life. We had a group back in Missouri called Angels of Hope, and we used to do Relay for Life together. And I chopped my hair off really, really short and donated it one year. And so it's okay to shine the light on the jammers. Yes. I mean, I think it's so interesting, right, little Miss Sharon? Because it is super illegal to do that, you know? And so I'm pretty interested, you know, to kind of go over everything. So I think it'll be something that'll be really fun to kind of learn more about, especially if some of us aren't as tech savvy. But I mean, I'm kind of appalled because so it's I have it written down. So that's why the photo, you know, because I was really complaining about this one, and I'm like, what in the world is this crap, right? Because I suppose since it's always been changed over and things that I've never realized the date on this one, but I noticed it right away. And I'm like, it took me 2 seconds to realize this, right? So what are they doing? And but they don't explain it. They just put this out there into the ether, and you know, people that have never, you know, known about Sebastian's case might get everything mixed up just because they don't explain things to people. You know, this is from this night. So they're not going to tell anybody that the cameras were jammed up, which, you know, I can't say I blame them, but in the same way, it doesn't leave a whole lot of, you know, a lot of clarification and transparency. So they're stuck on this date here. So it'd be 2/23/24, and they're stuck at the time of 3:11:04 a.m., which is very bizarre, right? Considering that little Miss Sharon hardly. I'm over here so late. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm over here researching, and then oh, it's 5 minutes after I'm supposed to go live. I need one of those. I need a buzzard to be like, Lady Freedom, you should be live right now. Hey, Retha Bell. And sometimes I'll be on the phone call or something, and oh shoot, I need to get back. I need to get off because I'm on my live. But it's been a lot of different research and buzz around all of this stuff, right? Just all of it. So um, with this, it's bizarre that the video kind of corresponds to this time, but 2 days before that was the camera jammed up 2 days before, right? Sebastian went missing. So on the 23rd, did they jam up is my one question. And then they continued to be jammed according to everyone's sources, and kind of, that from the 25th, well, it would be the 26th, I suppose, right? Yes, the 26th. And then they were back working on the 27th. But I don't think that they would revert backwards at all, right? So they had to have been jammed 2 days before, is what I'm trying to get at, if that makes sense, or 3, really. In the morning, the 23rd at 3, and I would think they would have stopped at that time, right? So it's all very interesting. And without knowing exactly when they decided to jam these or turn them on, a lot remains to be seen there. But instead of explaining any of this, they were directly debunking the theories that people on the internet have been talking about when it comes to the lights video. I also find that to be extremely curious. Instead of saying, yes, this is an enhanced video, or excuse me, an enhanced still shot of the video from the neighbor's surveillance, right? And instead of them saying and explaining why the date is mixed up, they're hiding that information. So I find that to be very interesting as well, because there has to be something more to the lights video if they're willing to hide this information or not wanting to be transparent and share it with all of us. There has to be a reason why they're doing that, in my opinion. So I'd like to kind of explore that. But what I want to do first is show you how these things are made homemade, right? So in terms of them, that way they would never have to really pay for one of these and leave a paper trail, right? One, or digital, print footprint. But also concealing the fact that they have one. Typically, you're not supposed to have them. They're illegal, right? I mean, any of them that even when you purchase one, you're not supposed to be. You would only use one of these. Let's back up. You would only use one of these if you were doing something you weren't supposed to be doing, right? Jamming the cameras in order for people not to be able to see whatever activity that you're doing. And then it comes to a premeditated state of mind that whoever did this had to have been in order to want to, participate in this. Let me change this over. There we go. Some of them are as small as a watch, guys, and we did go over this before. But here we are. Make sure I got you guys. Okay, there we go. Oh, my bad. Not that guy.
So hope you guys like it. So this project works using a Wi-Fi circuit board. You can buy these off Amazon for like $8, I think. So I'll link them down in the description below. It's called a Node MCU, and it's like an Arduino in the sense that it's a programmable circuit board, but it's got a Wi-Fi chip in it. So what we can do with this is upload a program that will allow us to target different Wi-Fi networks and effectively jam them. and also do a bunch of other cool things like clone the network. And you can actually target specific people connected to a network and specifically disconnect them with just a
Okay, guys, so just again, he's saying that you can do several things with one of these, and it is a board, excuse me, circuit board for Wi-Fi, right? And you can target specific individuals as you want, and he's going to show us kind of how it happens, but very, very easily, and especially for people who are very tech savvy and smart, people who know how to hack into things, what have you.
push of a button from your smartphone. Once again, for about $8. That is some super cool James Bond spy shit right there. But let me just say that this is actually illegal if you do it out in public. Any sort of Wi-Fi jamming is illegal. So make sure if you do this, just kind of do it within your own house or maybe to mess with a friend or something. But, you know, don't be stupid. Don't take this out and try and, like, ruin someone's day. So you do have to upload the code to make this work. And it can be a little tricky, but it's not too bad. I'm going to run through this real quick, but if you're interested in doing this, I'll also link some instructions down below of how you can get this code up and running. First, what you want to do is download the file from the link in the description and also the Arduino software. Then you have to add the URL to allow the Arduino software to connect with this board. Then add the version 2.0. Make sure it's that version because that's the way this tutorial is set up. Now there's 3 things we have to do to this file to get it up and running. I don't know why it just doesn't come like this, but you have to open up a file right here and add a little bit of text. And then you have to copy 2 other files from the folder and replace them in this folder right here. Once again, there's a link to a more detailed tutorial down in the description. So once you've done all that, you should be ready to go. One last thing you have to do though is install the drivers for this board. So just go to wherever you ordered the board from and download those drivers. That allows your computer to register this board from your USB port. Now all we have to do is select the correct board from the tools menu. So what worked for me was Node MCU.
Okay, guys, and I know this is a little bit boring, a little nerdy, I get it, but I will say that it's fairly simple, right? It just goes into knowing where to place these codes specifically and also having the wherewithal to select the correct networks, right? It's very simple, and he's doing it very quickly. Someone who's knowledgeable is going to be able to do that versus someone, you know, who isn't knowledgeable about that. I worked at a software company. I understand there's a whole other back end to the computer system and, you know, kind of how to get there. And then all of it is a lot of codes, So, but when you have a tutorial like this, it's very simple, even for someone who isn't as savvy to understand and do this. But we do have to remember that we have Katie Proudfoot, who is savvy, who does have the training and the education and also the understanding on how to do this. And so this is very, very possible. I also want to point out that any of this activity would have been shown when the police did any type of forensics on the electronics, hoping and God willing that they did. So
0.9 ESP12 module, the CPU frequency 80 megahertz, and flash size 4 megabytes, 3M SPIFFS. And one last thing I had to do was change the programmer to Arduino SP. Otherwise, this wouldn't work. So that's 2 things you got to remember that the tutorial down in the description doesn't mention. All right, but then you should be able to plug in this board, click upload on the Arduino sketch file, and you should be good to go.
Eve to me is basically freedom. It's a giant open universe where you can do.
We got a lot of time to get it right. It feels good to mess it up. Maybe don't think about it going late night. Who needs a fantasy? Buzzing on Hennessy, jazz like a Kennedy. And you're my nation, a revolution. Living right now, or you can call it disillusion. Until tomorrow comes, this is how we roll. So take a good step, find money, the money just won't buy it. Spend it up however we like. Take the good stuff, honey, the money just won't buy it. Don't try to save us, cause we're doing it right. We are the wasted youth. We are the wasted youth. We are the wasted youth. We are the wasted youth.
Okay, guys, and so just a little bit of, rewiring, hot wiring, right? And replacing this in order to make it turn into USB compatible, right? So just showing you guys that. Hey, Kiki, good to see you. Welcome in, everyone. Hey, Lisa P, good to see you. Oh, you're sick too, Lisa P? Oh my goodness. You guys, aw. I'm so sorry to hear that. The flu's running rampant, Ann says. The flu's running rampant. I bet it is. I'm so glad I stay inside mostly. No, that's terrible. I mean, I do go out into this little community, but I don't know. I've been very lucky this year. I'm sure when it gets chilly out, I'll be affected. Yeah, Chuchi, in my opinion, FYI, isn't Miss KK tech savvy to jam cameras? She sure is. And I think that she would be very good at something like this. And Brenda Calvert says Clone and Network didn't know that. Yeah, this is really going to be interesting because this guy is very knowledgeable about, creating, making one of these things and then also putting it into action, right? For different uses. And, of course, he puts the disclaimer up there, but I really think, in my humble opinion, that, mostly for, bad thing, people are only going to use this technology for a reason to deceive, in my opinion. Aretha Bell says $8, probably 16 now. Yeah, and let's see how long ago was the video. I'll have to take a look and see here. That's funny. This video is from, let's see. It does not tell me. I need to grab his link anyway and post it. Most of the time it just tells you right here. But I don't see a date on this one. Okay, here it is, April 23rd. Maybe I just start from the top that time. Yeah, April 23rd, 2017. So this is an even older technology that was, cloning and, creating, wreaking havoc on people, so to speak. And sometimes these guys will do that to their buddies, I guess he was saying, but KK is very knowledgeable about that kind of stuff. Yes. And that's why I'm very surprised at, don't look over here at this video that's jammed up and we can't even get the correct date and timestamp from the video. They're both trained in communication and cameras, Little Miss Sharon. Yeah, absolutely. And also they're both trained in search and rescue, but neither one of them have gotten off of their butts. It's amazing. You got to wonder if KP is selling her security system to the neighborhood to gain access to their Wi-Fi. Well, I wonder how many people have Brinks or versus Ring. I know somebody had the Nest camera brand. So that is true. GA64 though, that's a good observation. KK was trained in running in his running his mouth, in my opinion. He's very good at that. He is. I'm worried about that after hearing the card team didn't deploy there. Hopefully they remote connected and checked it. Yeah, I'm hoping they did too. I mean, I'm hoping that they did the geofencing they were talking about and everything, because I do think it's very important. So yeah, I got to ask, was it done by car, on the foot, uh, for a house? Yeah, and you don't know, and then security system hack, definitely a lead. Yeah, I agree, because you can hack into these systems as well, and that's basically what's happening here. But there's other ways too, from my understanding. $32 now. Retha, that's still, not a bad price, especially if people are using this in order to detour security cameras to, like buy a big item, say, or excuse me, to steal a big item rather than buy one. So that's really, and if you can reuse it and reuse it, I mean, oh, thank you, Retha Bell. I'm glad you liked it. I was trying not to play it because I'm like, oh, I don't want to give them too much, but then I thought, well, why not? It's all over the place anyway. Um, But yeah, can you believe they were searching for the lizard, or they were going to buy a $500 lizard? Oh, Retha, I was like, I cannot believe this. This is nuts. Chuchi says, I wonder if the neighborhood had problems with their cameras in the past or only at this time when Sebastian went missing, in my opinion. I'm wondering that too. I'm wondering the same thing. Was there ever some type of a malfunction before? And, Bobby the neighbor would have been a good source for that, but, since she's the only one willing to come out, it's kind of hard because I don't know that she's still willing to come out after everything, you know. And I just don't know why everybody's being so quiet. Hey, Linda Hall. Thank you, Little Miss Sharon. Gifted to Lady Freedom's Raw Narratives membership. If you got a membership from Little Miss Sharon, please say thank you and welcome to the Dragon Tribe. Hey, Mama, good to see you. Oh, Retha, did you get the welcome to the Dragon Tribe, Retha? Yay. All right. She says, whoop, whoop. That's so cute. She says, I love you, Little Miss Sharon. We love Little Miss Sharon. She's the best. That's cute. All right, guys, let's finish up with the back to our I don't know about you guys, but I could snooze. I could fall asleep. I could fall asleep watching something like this. Okay, here we go.
All right, so at this point, we've made the circuit. Basically, all we've done is attached a 9-volt battery, and we've taken that 9-volt and hooked it up to the positive and negative ports of a micro USB, and this micro USB just plugs right into the USB port of the circuit board. And also added a switch so we can turn it on and off, just like that. This board takes anywhere.
Okay, guys, I just want to point out that that is so, easy to do, right? So what he did is he, rewired to fit that little, oh, I'm not showing you my mouse. Here we go. He rewired that to fit that right here. So this is how you're charging this motherboard, is he rewired it, set it up to this 9-volt battery, and voila. So very, very archaic in my opinion. And, again, this was 2017, so a little bit older technology, but, I can piece it together, and I'm not good at any of this stuff.
From 5 to 10 volts, so 9 volts will work with this. It's like 5 volts recommended, but, we can go a little bit higher. So some things you could do with this board. One, if you wanted to power it off of your phone battery, you could get a connector that looks something like this. And that basically will route power from your phone right to the circuit board. And then you don't need a 9-volt at all. But I don't really want to kill my phone battery. So what I decided to do instead of mounting this to my phone, I'm actually going to go ahead and put all of this inside of a Tic Tac container. So this can super easily fit in my pocket. I can just flip it on and off whenever I want to jam some Wi-Fi. So another modification I made was to cut off all of the pins on this circuit board right here. You can see it used to look like this. And this is just to save space. So I can put it inside of the container.
Ever wondered what your home looks like from space? Enter your address and get a 360-degree satellite view of your home.
Okay, guys, and I just want to point out he's just kind of attaching the 9-volt battery with some electrical tape. Obviously, you wouldn't want to use regular tape, but he just said he's like, all I have to do is click it on, fits easily in my pocket if I want to jam up the Wi-Fi. So very interesting, and hey, Town Chat Cafe. So very little work. If you're good with rewiring things, obviously it can be dangerous if we don't know what we're doing with it, but I mean, he seems to know exactly what he's doing. So okay, so again, it's just connected, right? Everything's together. He's gonna put it in the TikTok box. Tic-tac. A little bit of hot glue. And then he just took some more electrical tape, closed it up, and voila.
All right, and now we're left with this device right here. As you can see, put it in the TikTok container. Of course, to make it look cool, to make anything look cool really, you just gotta wrap it in some carbon fiber tape. So if you can see, I have a switch right here. I just slide it over, actually cut out a little hole. There's an indication light right there. Just kind of cut away some of the carbon fiber tape, just like that. So now this thing is transmitting its Wi-Fi. So now we can go ahead and flip on our device. And now we're going to hop into settings, and you'll see a Wi-Fi network. And by default, this Wi-Fi network is called pwned. Just going to go and click that, and the password for that is the author. And as you can see, we are now connected. So if we hop on over to Safari and we go to this URL right here, so it's 192.168.4.1, and let's go ahead and it brings us to this menu right here. So first, what you can do is scan for Wi-Fi access ports. So this will basically just search and show you every Wi-Fi network that's available around you. Just go and scan.
Okay, so, and again, this would work in a neighborhood. You would just look to see your neighbors and see who was which network. And a lot of times people will, rename their network with something like silly or funny, or, but sometimes sometimes your phone will just be like your name and then the iPhone, or what have you. So this would be how they would access other people's Wi-Fi networks, that is.
So these are all the Wi-Fi networks right here. So you can pick and choose which one you want to jam. So all you have to do is just hit select, hop on over here to attack. There'll be a DAuth right there, and all we have to do is just click start. And as you can see, it is now running. So anyone on that network will not be able to use it. So because the networks I'm using right now have a lot of different channels, that has a lot of protection, they are actually kind of hard to deauthorize. So what I'm going to do is kill my iPhone's Wi-Fi. So I'll be tossing up a hotspot from my iPhone and connecting it to my laptop. And then running a speed test right as I kill the Wi-Fi. And hopefully we'll see my computer stop working and not be.
And guys, I just also want to point out, we did a video on how easy it is for people to get a burner phone, a true burner phone that was paid for in cash, that is not associated with you at all whatsoever, unless you are a dumbass and you keep the receipt and you throw it in the back of your car and law enforcement finds it. Okay, so, but really, truly, this is another reason why we might have, a little bit of sneaky action going on in terms of a burner phone, and why they might have several burner phones in order to accomplish some of these tasks as well. That's hilarious. I know, Retha, this is bad. I mean, he's only doing bad with this. It's only bad. It's all bad. Okay, here we go.
Able to connect. So now I'm going to connect to my iPhone's Wi-Fi. And my password is secret password. Shh, don't tell anyone. So you can see we're connected over here. And now let's try and jam this. So I'm going to rescan the networks and find my Wi-Fi I just created. As you can see right there, top list. Scroll over, select it, and go up to attack. And I'm going to hit deauthorize. But first, I want to start this speed test to show how it kills my Wi-Fi. So I'm going to go. It's probably not going to be very fast because, again, it's the Wi-Fi from my iPhone. Oh, and then I'm going to hit deauth. And then we should see it dropping.
Wow.
Right as it starts. Look, there we go. Download speed error because we just blocked the Wi-Fi. And another thing I can do is actually...
So, you know, this is very doable, very easy, especially if you're knowledgeable about something like that. You know, absolutely easy. And also, you know, just takes having another phone in order to accomplish this. So, you know, he makes it look easy.
Clone this Wi-Fi network. So if I come down here and hit beacon clone, I can just go over and start this. And basically what this will do is it'll create a ton of fake Wi-Fi networks that don't do anything, but that are named after the Wi-Fi I'm trying to clone. So if I come up here to my Wi-Fi menu, you can see all these new networks that have been created. But if I try to join any of them, it just won't work. So yeah, just kind of a funny way to mess with some people. Wow, look how many networks there are right here. All right, guys, well, there you go. This has successfully created a Wi-Fi jammer for under 10 bucks. And I hope you guys do find it interesting as well. Once again, remember that this is illegal to do in like public places. So if you're going to attempt to do this, just don't use it in public. Maybe just use it to prank a friend or something. I don't know, just don't be stupid. So if you did find this video interesting.
All right, so that's that. I'm just my silly avatar tonight. Okay, so that's that. And then what I wanted to show you guys as well, give me 1 second here. I will pull it in. And it's going to be how easy it is to get this burner phone. And I just want to show you all that really quick. It's a shorter video too. But that way we can have an idea of, you know, how to get a true burner phone in order to pull something like this off. Or even, you know, it was seen in Katie's pockets that she had phones that night at the Texas Roadhouse. It appeared to be the phones, in my opinion. So I really wanted to do some research on that and figured out that it's super easy to get phones that don't even come back to, you know, the person who's using them, and how easy it is just to leave no trail whatsoever, especially if you throw the receipt away or tell the clerk that you don't need the receipt. You know, and then there's no evidence tracing it back. So it's kind of a scary concept, I'm not going to lie. You know, especially knowing it's this easy to kind of pull that off. Let's see, how long ago did I do that video? It wasn't that long ago. I don't think it was a short. But I just find it very interesting that they could have used any of these different avenues in order to, you know, pull all of this off. Because honestly, I know there are some glaring details and a lot of, you know, circumstantial evidence that we all can identify ourselves. However, hey, MC Rapping Recovery, good to see you. Valley Girl, good to see you. Okay, this is freaking me out. Not to mention there's a camera feature on the TV that can watch you. Yeah, well, and that it's really, really scary, Valley Gal, because like even on the baby monitors that have the capability to kind of record, and you can look in on your baby when they're sleeping, and you know, if they get up, you know, and you can see them playing in their crib for a little bit, that sort of thing. Those have been hacked as well. So I kind of wanted to show you that that too, and we can look at that hacking. I'll just say hacking into Wi-Fi. cameras. Because again, hardwire cameras, you're not able to do this, right? And I don't know what type of a camera system they had, you know, that they were working with. This guy talks about securing your home. Let's check this one out. Give me 1 second. Let me skip this. All right, so yeah, well, and that's the thing when there's literally no trail, Elisa P. That's what's so tough, right? But they've got to know that something was used to jam the cameras up, and that's why they're playing it off. That's what's kind of frustrating to me is because they're obviously playing everything off as if, nothing to see here. There's no reason, to look because everything's okay, that sort of thing. So, um, I know I posted a video. I think it was a sneak peek. Uh, let's see. Was it the 6-minute one? And we talked about the jammers. Let me see here. Oh, this one's the yellow jacket. We know all about the yellow jacket. And again, I know there was differences of opinion that came out as well with even the yellow jacket. No, that's not it. But I just wanted to show you because I think it's interesting, how they were able to evade some of this stuff, right? And it's like it doesn't make a darn bit of sense that the police are really looking hard at what they've, everything that they've done up until this point. Um, it's amazing to me. Oh, okay, this is about the yellow jacket too, and putting the pieces together, about that as well. Because they were very quick to debunk that piece of info as well. Hey, Wild Wolf, good to see you. Talking about how stupid that LE is. They didn't know how his truck jammed on the Wi-Fi, or excuse me, jumped on the Wi-Fi. Yeah, and he was PO'd about it, right? He was PO'd about it. Especially, that's what prompted him to go up during the elevated goof live. Remember CP boasted how clean their electronics were? Yes, I do remember that. I do remember that, Brenda Calvert. And that to me is one of the dumber comments, especially someone who's followed true crime for so long, because we all know, any of us that have followed true crime long enough, we all know that no evidence is evidence, right? Some people catch on to it quicker than others, but that's just the way it is. You know, um, you would know if things were cleaned off, right? If you dust for fingerprints on a door handle and there's no fingerprints whatsoever, what does that tell us? Somebody cleaned it up, right? Why would they clean it up? And that's what usually gets people busted. Thank you, Town Chat. Thank you, guys. Adam Forever 21 says for FBI needs involved. This county needs to prove their investigation procedures. Good God. And I agree. I agree because they haven't really done that, have they? They haven't really provided any information for us to feel like they have done their due diligence, which is not a great feeling, not a great feeling at all. it's actually frustrating because not only have they been dishonest, but they've come up with different answers to the same question, right? So when it comes to the lights video, they wanted us to believe it was a trash truck to begin with. Now they want us to believe that it was lights off in the distance from headlights, right? And they even want to change the whole entire trajectory of where the house was pointing in the camera view when they circled that little red dot in this picture, right? So the camera is going to be pointed downward up, it's going to be positioned above, and so it's going to be having to point downward in order to get the view of their vehicles, right? Because that's why they have a camera, right? So it's just all very absurd and unbelievable, and something to where, I mean, it's like they're upset with us for not believing their lie, and that's very concerning in my opinion. Oh, sorry guys. I'm still looking for that video while we talk. So, I mean, that's frustrating in and of itself. No, that's not it. I know I'll find it sooner or later. Let me go ahead and pull this other one in that we could watch. Joe Neal says, Cash got this. Good to see you, Joe. I am hoping MC zooms in on their released image and can find something of value. I hope so too, GA64. We did a review this afternoon of Mob Crew. Hey, Andrea, of Mob Crew. So it was really nice because snarky malarkey. He explained things really, really well. And also we were able to understand, okay, why is this date different? What is this picture of? Because most people that weren't aware of that, and especially even new people out there, aren't going to know what the hell is happening or what's going on. It makes them look extremely sloppy and incompetent. It just does. It just does. And, I'd hate for them to look that way. But then again, if the shoe fits, wear it. I mean, it's not my job to baby these people at all. Not at all, at all. As a matter of fact, if I'm going to baby anybody, it's going to be Sebastian, because he's the one that is missing out there. And no one seems to want to look for him. In my opinion, it seems like they would rather us be quiet and accept the status quo. And I don't see how that's helping anyone. It isn't helping anyone at all. So let me see if I can go to burner phone. Oh, this is the video that I used. Okay, here we go. All right, give me 1 second and I'm just going to pull this in. I'll just use this video because I have no idea where the one I made was, but that's okay. It's pretty similar. And we can just stop for fair use in the middle. All right, let's make sure you guys can see. There we go.
Now, first, let me explain how you do it, how easy it is, but also why in the world I bought my 11-year-old daughter a burner. First, I'm recording this video in January of 2024. So sometimes people tell me, oh, you can't buy burner phones anymore. You can do that in the past. You can do that back in the day. That's all nonsense. So first, I'll tell you why I'm getting my 11-year-old daughter a burner phone. One, it's not so she can have a phone. She goes to school with kids whose parents let them have phones, which I think is absolute nonsense. She's 11-year-old. 11-year-olds do not need a phone to carry around in their backpack to carry around all the time. When she gets 16, yeah, if she's driving, we'll get her a phone. Again, it'll be a phone we control. But no, she's not getting a permanent phone where she can walk around with. The reason she's getting a burner phone is because I'm going to be out of town. My wife has to be somewhere. So she's going to be alone for like an hour or some short period of time. And because she's going to be alone for a short period of time, then I obviously want her to have a phone. Now, usually I give her one of my phones. So I use a flip phone right here. If I'm around in my office or whatever, because I have multiple phones, I'll give her one of my phones. That way, if there's an emergency, she can call us. But since I'm going to be out of town, I need all my phones with me. So I had to get her a phone that she could have. Now, when it comes to buying burner phones, here's how you do it. Here's how.
Okay, guys, so I just want to point out this is from February of 2024. So the same month that Sebastian went missing. So even a year prior to this, you could go out and buy these burner phones. And some of them are more elaborate than just a flip phone, right? Just because it's a burner phone doesn't mean it's a flip phone, or doesn't mean it's like those little Nokias or, you know, the little Motorola's, the old school ones. No, you can buy ones that have, you know, this touch screen and all of that, right? But for his intents and purposes, he just needed her to have, you know, something to communicate on. I think when we went to the dump in the burner phones that everybody was using, in my opinion, I mean, you know, whatever, my big thing too, Wild Wolf, is it had to have been whatever they threw out had to have been thrown out and taken to the curb and, you know, hauled away with the trash that morning, right around 5:30 when the trash comes to be picked up, and then it was gone, you know, from that point on. Because Katie didn't even ask, you know, excuse me, Katie did not even call and report Sebastian missing until about 6:30, 6:38 that day, right? And she did a three-way call with Chris. So in that regard, I think that she absolutely got rid of everything that she needed to get rid of that morning, you know, and we never witnessed them doing any type of forensics on the trash can to see if there was any type of, and I hate to say some, you know, be graphic, but any type of leakage or anything like that, that they could have found any type of DNA in terms of them putting like a person into the trash bin, right? I do think they were focusing in on electronics. In my opinion, whatever they were looking for, they may or may not have found something, right? It's not like they're going to disclose that to us at this juncture. I think it's safe to say that our relationship with law enforcement, being the public, is pretty non-existent, in my opinion. I don't think they're interested in speaking with us or getting any information from us unless maybe it's a sighting of Sebastian. I'd like to still hold that little bit of faith that if we called in a sighting of Sebastian, they would take it seriously. Their actions have proven otherwise. That's not my fault. The reason I feel that way, that's their fault for making me lose faith and trust in them. They haven't been honest with us. They don't have to be honest with us. And so I'm going to go with they're probably going to stay in the position of being dishonest with us. So MC Rapping Recovery says, if you believe what the dog handler said, she said that that garage dump was for electronics. Yeah. I mean, I do the garbage, excuse me, garbage dump, excuse me, was for electronics. And, you know, I think that they were looking for electronics. I do. Because like I said, if they were looking for DNA, they would have looked at the trash bin itself, right? But since they didn't examine that or um anything like that, I would have liked for them maybe to dust for fingerprints to see who took the trash can out last, to see if Sebastian's fingerprints were even on the trash can, especially at this point. you know? I don't believe they put burner phones in, or I don't believe they'd put burner phones in the trash. I believe they put them in the private lake by G's home. That's a good point too, Elisa P. They had a lot of places they could have stashed or ditched or, what have you, whatever evidence they had, you know? So we've had a day here in the US, Joe. Yeah, we really have. We really have. My heart goes out to Charlie Kirk and his family. Very, 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 very sad that someone cannot voice their opinion, or really it's usually the ones that are trying to do good. It's so sad. It's very sad. Um 31 years old. Elisa P says, I think they dumped their old cameras. Yeah, I think so too. I think so too. They were absolutely looking for something electronic, in my opinion. MC Rapping Recovery says, I think everything went with Sebastian wherever they were, and I always have a fear that Chris had something to do with it at the hospital he was working out. Yeah, I remember, or working at. Yeah, I do remember him making jokes about the concrete to MC Rapping Recovery, and that was something that made me feel pretty uneasy considering sorry guys, I'm probably going into personal convos. No, MC Rapping, you're totally fine, girl. Say whatever you guys think. And like I said, if you guys want me to Google something pertaining to, I want to keep it on topic. Please don't say, "Hey, Lady Freedom, could you Google how to make meatloaf?" Because we're not talking about meatloaf. But, if it pertains to, camera jamming or hacking into, you know, the Wi-Fi system and things, security systems in the neighborhood, definitely let me know if you have a question for Google, and we can, I'll read it out to you guys. Um, the trash had already ran before 6:30. Before 6:30, yeah, yeah, perfectly imperfect boy, mom. So, typically in the neighborhood, according to Bobby, and also I happened to be on the phone one night when someone drove the neighborhood, um, and the trash comes to pick up at about 5 o'clock in the morning. 5:15. It makes its rounds. It usually, gets out of there before the school buses, right? Because there was a conflict with, because it's a small little neighborhood, Victoria Places. And, the bus coming through, the kids trying to pick up, and then a big trash truck coming through as well wasn't very helpful. And don't forget that we do have confirmation that one of the buses comes by at 6:20, as early as 6:20. Now, Sebastian picked up a different bus and he had to be out there around 7 o'clock, right? So there's a little bit of a difference there. But yeah, that's an actual, still photo of footage from the neighborhood, and a 6:30 bus coming by. We find out that that is the bus to the high school, but it's picking up other kids in the neighborhood. So, yeah, there's dogs that look for electronics, MC Rapping Recovery, definitely. Jules, the dog handler, she has, um, she does have dogs that do all of it. They search for everything, drugs, ion batteries, which would fall under like the electronics. Um, we love Jules. Was it literally 11 days after that that they tried to look in that dump? Yeah. It was something like that. The landfill search, I could pull up a clip from that because we definitely covered it here, and look at it too. Um, we'll do that next as well. And, you know, they said it was just precautionary, guys. That's the thing that really got me about the landfill search for Sebastian. Because they were saying, oh, it's just precautionary and we're just kind of looking for, you know, anything we can and blah, blah, blah. But they weren't being specific. I think they got permission rather than like a probable cause affidavit being, you know, filled out and the warrant being issued by the judge. I'm not sure about that though. But let's see if it'll pull up easy. Oh, here we go. Oh, there we go. And I'll pause that. This is a little clip, and then there's another one for Kentucky Landfill here. So we'll pause that. All right, and we'll go back to that. But I'll just go on with these burner phones. Yeah, and they very well could have put them in the water, Lisa P. You know, they very well could have put them in the water, and that's the thing, you know. I mean, these phones are like, you know, pretty cheap too. They're pretty cheap too.
Ridiculously simple it is to get one of these phones. First, go to some place like Target or Walmart. I'm sitting in the Walmart parking lot. I went to Walmart. You go to their electronics aisle. You find a track phone. I'm going to show you the box of the phone right here that I just bought. Right here, track phone. You get one of these track phones. Then you get minutes. You can obviously pick how many minutes you want, right? So you get the minutes card, then you get the track phone box. This is a flip phone I got her because remember, I'm only using this for this time she's going to be alone for emergency purposes. It's not a phone she's going to carry around. And actually, the phone I got her is nicer than my flip phone that I just threw in my pocket. So she's getting a better flip phone than I have.
Okay, guys, and I also want to stop and point out for a second too that you can also buy these cards for like a month at a time also. So you'd pay $50, say, through Boost Mobile, and you can have a whole month of access to that burner phone. So just to, you know, throw that out there as well.
So I got this, it was $19.95. I bought a short time of minutes just because she's only using it for that one day, and that also cost me $19.95. After tax, the amount I spent on a burner phone plus minutes was $43. But because I want to do it the right way, because I have a lot of clients who are escaping abusive spouses, or escaping bad relationships, they really want a burner phone that nobody knows about. I did it the way I teach my clients and the way I always do it when I get my own burner phone for my very high-end clients. Go to Walmart, go to the electronics aisle, you take out this box, you take out the minutes. You walk up to the counter and you say, I need to pay for this and I need somebody to activate it here for me. So you will pay for it. Like I just said, mine was $43. Because you want it to be a true burner phone, don't use your credit card. You are going to pay cash for it. So I gave them $50 in cash. They gave me my change. And then I reiterate again, can I please have somebody activate this for me? Because they're going to tell you, they're not going to want to do their job. They're going to tell you, oh, you know, you can just go online and activate it. Just go set up an account and activate it. That requires your personal information. Do not do it that way. So in my case, after I said, hey, I would like somebody to activate this for me, the woman who was helping me said, oh, Julie, or whatever her real name is. Oh, Julie's the person that activates the track phones. She'll be right with you. So I waited around. Julie came. I looked at the clock when she started. She opens the box. She takes it out. She calls, does everything. It was 6 minutes from start to finish of when she activated the phone. So let me see. Let me get the real phone that I threw back in here. Daughter has. So this is the new flip phone. This is my old one. This is the one that I actually use. And this is the new one that I got my daughter, the new track phone. So 6 minutes, start to finish. She gave me this phone. It works. When they're activating this phone, they will say, hey, what area code do you live in? Or what area code do you want to use? I live in Utah, but I grew up in Northern Virginia, area code 703. So I said, oh, I want a 703 area code for this. So they put in 703 and then it generates the number, however track phone does it. And so 703 area code. If you are doing this for pure privacy purposes, escaping an abusive spouse, you absolutely do not want to use the area code of where you live in. So if you're going to go buy this track phone at Walmart, have an area code in your head. Pick a random place. Pick Florida, Wyoming, Michigan. Just pick some state, some area code that you want them to use. And that is how easy it is and how quickly you can get a burner phone off the books, not attached to your credit card. Nobody knows that you have it because they don't ask for any personal information. When she's activating this for me, the only question she asked me is what area code did I want to use for this? 703. She didn't ask me for my name. She didn't ask me for an email address. Sometimes they ask you if you have an email you want associated. Always say no if they ask you, but in this case, she didn't ask me anything. And 6 minutes later, I had my phone. My daughter's going to be good to go for that time alone. If there's an emergency, then of course, if I want to, I can buy more minutes for this phone.
Okay, guys. So that's the general gist of that there. Really, really interesting information. And helpful to kind of, let us know what we're looking at here. Let's see. So let's go to the precautionary landfill search, right? Precautionary in air quotes, in my opinion. So here we go, and I'll just go ahead and play this through. Also, I wanted to say hi to Bo. Bo, welcome into the pajama party, the camera PaJammer party. Good to see you. There's just so many things that could have happened here, and I like kind of going through everything we can. Oh, was somebody in here acting up the other night? I blocked a couple of trolls last night. They always come around when we start talking about, some of the search items that were found that weren't followed up on. We've been talking about a little bit of stuff here. Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom says, how do these actually work? And I think that's a really good question too, before we get into the landfill here. But it says, when I typed it in, what happens when a Wi-Fi camera is jammed by a jammer? It says, yes, someone can jam wireless security cameras using jamming devices. These devices emit signals at the same frequency as your Wi-Fi cameras. So typically it's 2.4 gigahertz or 5.0 gigahertz and overpower the legitimate signals, effectively rendering the cameras useless during an intrusion attempt, right? So I'm really wondering if, because the security camera was still working, if it has more to do with a hack, right? Where somebody hacked into their system in order to jam up the time and the date, perhaps. Especially because everything kind of went back to normal at a certain point. Bonjour, thank you for being here, Seclusion Works. Good to see you. So, hey, Roxy R, good to see you. So, let's take a look at this landfill search. This is interesting too. So, because a lot of us think that, they were possibly looking for some electronics during this search.
Well, the precautionary landfill search in Kentucky connected to the missing Sumner County teen is over. Investigators say they did not find anything related to the disappearance of Sebastian Rogers, that 15-year-old with autism, went missing about 2 weeks ago. Our Brendan Tierney's live in the studio with our continuing coverage on this search. And we know you just got off the phone with the sheriff, Brendan. What did he or she have to say?
Tracy, yeah, the sheriff told me that at this point, he is still considering it to be a recovery, search and rescue operation.
Okay, guys, and I just want to point out, when they're talking about the sheriff back then, they were talking about Sonny Weatherford and not Sheriff Eric Craddock, right? And then just to kind of put this out there, it's saying, this was posted a year ago, March 9th, 2024. So they were doing that landfill search. Let's see, that would make it about 11 days later. Yeah, depending on if we're counting back from January 20, or excuse me, February 25th or February 26th, just depending. But this interview is from March 9th, 2024. and they're calling it precautionary, and they're calling it a recovery effort, right, guys? So, you know, going back through these news clips, it's very eye-opening, in my opinion.
He's concerned, though, that it might become a recovery effort as they are going further and further into it. After yesterday, they didn't find anything up at the landfill. He says that the trash company gets collected in Sebastian's neighborhood on Monday mornings. It was during that time period between when he was last seen and Sebastian was reported missing. So they went up there wanting to make sure they didn't miss anything from that time period. They didn't receive any specific tips about the landfill, and that's why.
Guys, and also I want to point out, it says right here, Sebastian Rogers hasn't been seen since February 25th, 2024, right? Now, excuse me, we can argue and debate about this, but it seems to me at this point in time, March 9th, that law enforcement's thinking about recovery efforts as they scaled the search back and the investigation turned criminal, in my opinion. That's the only reason they would use this verbiage. Also, at this point, March 9th, 2024, they also probably are well aware that Sebastian was caught on no surveillance cameras, only leaving the restaurant, possibly taking the trash out to the end of the curb.
After searching in the area, the trash from Monday was found. They were not able to come away with any additional evidence. At this point, they were reviewing stuff from earlier in the investigation, make sure they didn't possibly miss anything. They are trying to come up with more possible leads. The sheriff told me that they had a spotting over in East Tennessee earlier today. They sent a deputy all the way out there, ended up not being Sebastian, but they're still holding out hope that they're able to find him and are going to continue working through the.
Okay, guys, so.
Well, the precautionary landfill search in Kentucky connected to the missing Sumner County team is over.
All right, I didn't want that to keep playing. I want to play this next one, Kentucky landfill to be searched in connection to missing 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers. But first, I wanted to read Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom's comment, and she says an article I saw said there were certain jammers that can distort the image to make it look more pixelated or distorted and hard to decipher objects. Yes, and I can definitely see how they would want to do something like that in order to make it harder to recognize, right? Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of different things, even with just down to the cloning of networks and, just kind of gumming up the works. It's very frustrating.
Exclusive.
Okay, and let me make sure I'm still on here. All right. So yeah, now we're around again March 9th. Let me make sure when this one came out. Just again March 7th, right? So here's March 7th and March 9th. Just to kind of put it into perspective for you guys too. And then also MC was asking, and I love having the dates of things and kind of keeping things into perspective.
Sky 5 video showing the latest search for a missing teen out of Sumner County. Thanks for joining us here at 6. I'm Rory Johnston.
And I'm Carrie Sharp. Sebastian Rogers has now been missing for 11 days. And today, investigators turned their attention here to a landfill in Kentucky.
Yeah, meanwhile, the TBI today releasing these 4 new photos of the 15-year-old who has autism. Now, this activity marking the first real lead since the search began. Nick Barris now with the latest details.
The search for Sebastian Rogers continues in the neighborhood where he disappeared, and part of that now includes tracking down and tracing garbage. That's right. Garbage could contain vital clues to the investigation. We know that Sebastian Rogers disappeared from his Hendersonville home a week ago Monday. His mother reported him missing around 6 a.m. Since then, there's been a mass massive search effort from the air and on the ground. It's safe to say crews have searched just about everywhere for the autistic teen within a 5-mile radius of the home and have found nothing. But one thing they did not search is the garbage, and that is why Sumner County deputies and Kentucky State Police spent the day searching a landfill in White Plains, Kentucky. Why there? Well, News Channel 5 has learned that trash in the Stafford Court neighborhood is picked up every Monday between 5 and 6 a.m., and it was sent to that landfill. So
Okay, guys, so he just kind of confirmed what he knew about it. And yes, I agree. We've heard that, the moon was full that night, right? Detroit Rock City says good to see you too. You're welcome, MC Rapping Recovery. And Elisa P says, yes, it was a waxing gibbous moon, right? Gibbous moon. So if I mispronounce that, I think, yeah, almost full, but not quite, right, Elisa P? And it was like 97% visibility, right, in the neighborhood, even though it was quite dark without having street lights and things like that. Absolutely, the visibility was better that night than a night where the moon wasn't helping out, Saturday the 24th, 2024 was a full moon, Detroit Rock City. Yeah, and so I think that's why it was like just coming out of that full moon. Nick B has been very quiet lately. Brenda Calvert, he came out and was backpedaling about the lights video. But he's friends with Eric Craddock on Facebook, so they're buds. And why does she still have a Christmas bow on the garage door in March? I know. I was thinking that too. I couldn't help but think that Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom. I'm serious too. I was like, okay. But I also want to point out this is J.E. McMurtry Disposal that takes their the trash in the neighborhood too. Waning gibbous phase, whatever that means. Okay, waning. Thank you. Waning. We go between the waning and the waxing. Hey, Meow. Thank you for being number 49. Good to see you. But yeah, KP says it was very dark that night. Very dark that night. And when she says that, it makes me think that she was like remembering being out in the darkness, Lisa P. Because I mean, and there were a lot of lights on in the neighborhood too. Like the neighbors had those great big halogen floodlights on, and you saw other people's lights, around. So yeah, private, and that was the thing. They weren't sure which one. People were going, okay, which one, and why are they, looking in Kentucky, because there was a couple different ones that they use in case they have overflow and stuff like that. One good thing is they usually know whereabouts they dumped everything, so that's, I guess, was a good thing.
So all the trash from the neighborhood dumpsters, including the trash bin at Sebastian's home, was picked up and gone before the teen was even reported missing. Officers.
And then not only that, guys, so, everything in the neighborhood, all of those trash bins were gone and taken to the dump, right? Before Sebastian was reported missing. And then keep in mind that this search was not done until March 7th, which was 11 days later, right? If we're going back from the day that Sebastian was reported missing, February 26th, they found out about it at 6:38 in the morning. So that leaves the 26th, 7th, 8th, 9th, because we had a leap year that year, right? 7 plus 4 is 11, right? So I think that's why I got confused, MC Rapping, when you said that, because I was like, this video is from the 9th, but no, they were still covering the landfill search. This was the first day. So thank you for that. And, we had the tour day YouTube with Chris and Katie as well going on at that point.
Are digging through trash and the landfill looking for any clues. They don't know what they'll find, but say the search is part of leaving no stone unturned. There's the possibility some evidence was disposed of in the trash. In the meantime, authorities were back at.
And guys, that's the Faro technology. So that's the camera that they were using, in order to preserve the crime scene. So no matter what Chris Proudfoot, Katie, anybody says, anybody from that camp says, they were absolutely in the middle of a criminal investigation, even in the first, week, right?
The family house today in the backyard appearing to take photographs. No one is giving up on the search effort for Sebastian, but at the same time, authorities appear to be moving forward with a possible criminal investigation. They have named no suspects, and detectives say that Sebastian's family has been cooperative. As this investigation continues to evolve, authorities are still going through security camera video obtained from homes in this neighborhood, and they do continue to depend on tips from the public. In Sumner County,
That's a bunch of crap, right? I don't think so. They wanted us to stay out of it from the very beginning, from the get-go. Brenda says they should have stopped that truck that morning they got to the landfill. Well, and I mean, I agree, because that's still, 11 days. So, and then also, let's not forget that that's a whole another trash cycle again for them to pick up again, right? 11 days. Because they picked up that morning, and then they would have picked up 7 days later, right? Again on Monday morning. So, and then they waited even, 4 more days after that to start searching the landfill. Very, very curious. Very, very curious. Can a jammer block a camera? Disrupting security cameras with jammers requires the information about the camera broadcast frequency and the right equipment to jam that frequency. Some camera jammers also can disrupt or block signals of security cameras. Right? So they just won't have anything. I wanted to look at what happens if you block. Oop. All right. If you hack someone's security camera. There we go. All right. All right, this one is about hackers can eavesdrop through security cameras. September 11th of 2025. That's the date here. This doesn't seem like a new article, but how secure is your security camera? Hackers can spy. Let me go ahead and share this. And this is just a quick article I pulled up here. This is from February 8th of 2024, so that's a good deal, right? Cody Mello Klein says, how secure is your security camera? Hackers can spy on cameras through walls, new research finds. Capturing real-time video through walls isn't hard if you have an antenna and a little bit of engineering know-how. It could be a massive threat to billions of security and phone cameras. Okay. When it comes to protecting a bank or even your home, security cameras are one of the first lines of defense. But what if those cameras aren't as secure as we think? New research from Northwestern University confirms that there might be a massive gap in our security infrastructure, and it comes from the very devices designed to protect it. Right? It's funny how ironic we're reading an article from Northwestern University, and maybe Eric Craddock should have been there to talk about that. Maybe that public safety concern is more important, in my opinion. GA64 says, I think the 3M lights were cleanup crews, so who knows where evidence could have been dumped. I agree with that too, GA64. We just really don't know. Elisa P says, I think Sebastian looked a lot like Seth. His hair was getting darker and KP couldn't stand it, in my opinion. I would have to agree. All of the food was a serious problem, in my opinion, to them. I think so too. You know, we watched the clip from Chronicles of Olivia where Katie was saying that, you know, Sebastian was rummaging for snacks. And I just kind of get upset with that because I just don't see somebody rummaging in their own home. You know what I mean? That's kind of something you would say about someone who was transient, or maybe they were a guest in your home and you caught them in your cabinets. But even then, I still, tell people you can go in the cabinets and grab something. I mean, I don't know. It's weird. I agree. So Kevin Fu, a professional of electric and computer engineering at Northwestern who specializes in cybersecurity, has figured out a way to eavesdrop on most modern cameras, from home security cameras and dash cameras to cameras on your phone. Wow. He's called EMI, short for electromagnetic eye. The technique can capture the video from another person's camera through walls in real time. It redefines the idea of a peeping Tom. That's super creepy. This is Kevin Vu. He's a professor in the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering at Northwestern University. According to Fu, anyone with a few $100s of equipment, a radio antenna, and a little bit of engineering know-how could do this. The problem, Fu says, is not the lens, but the wires inside most modern cameras. With your typical security camera, on the inside, there's a camera lens, and then there's got to be something else on the inside, like a computer chip that's got a wireless connection back to the internet, Fu says. There are wires between two different chips inside these cameras, and those wires give off electromagnetic radiation. We pick up that radio and then we decode it, and it just happens to be that we get the real-time encoded video. Right, guys? We pick up that radio, right? And then we decode it, and it just happens to be that we get the real-time encoded video. So you're getting their video feed in real time where you can see it. And it does cost a couple $100, right? And having the right equipment and know-how, which to the best of our knowledge, Katie possesses that, She does. So let's go on here. The data transmission capable, the data transmission cable that sends a video as bits and bytes ends up unintentionally acting as a radio antenna that leaks all kinds of electromagnetic information, including those bits and bytes. If someone had the desire and the technical knowledge that could take that electromagnetic signal and reproduce the real-time video without audio, right? The technique exposes a gap in how many manufacturers approach the design and production of cameras. The state of modern smartphone cameras is manufacturers try really hard to protect the intentional digital interfaces, the actual upload channel to the cloud, Fu says. They don't appear to put a lot of effort into the leakage of information through unintended channels. They never intend for the wire to become a radio transmitter, but it is. The version of the video that Fu and his team get is initially distorted, like Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom was saying, right? The team gets this video, it's initially distorted. It looks almost like an X-ray due to pixel loss in the process of being transmitted. However, using machine learning, Fu and his team were able to clean up the video to appear much closer to the original. Guys, and I just have to. I mean, forgive me. But I just have to go to this. Okay? Does that look distorted, pixelated to you guys? Because it does to me. It looks awfully pixelated and distorted. Right? So, and shout out to Limelight Girl, Limelight Punk for this collaboration. Right? But it's just as we were saying here. Right? The version of the video that Fu and his team get is initially distorted. It looks almost like an X-ray due to pixel loss in the process of being transmitted. However, using machine, Fu and his team were able to clean up the video to appear much closer to the original. And that's what people were doing here. You know, they would say, I did the one, and then someone else sent me the other one, right? And since we were working far apart, we had to label the images to find an understanding of what was going on, right? What we were seeing. Are you seeing this? I'm seeing this. Hey, Vic, good to see you. Gosh, I hate that feeling that way, but it's just very apparent. Yeah, and I mean, I have that feeling too. I do too. Thank you for hitting the like button, Vic. I do have that feeling too. I hate that, you know. Um, it's unfortunate, right? But we're kind of learning a little bit more about hacking and how to get it, you know, how to jam these up, what could have been used that night in order to create the effect that we see now. Fu and his team have tested EMI on 12 different kinds of cameras, including smartphone cameras, dash cameras, and home security cameras. Results vary on how far away someone would have to be in order to eavesdrop on these different devices. For some, a peeping Tom would have to be less than 1 foot away. For others, they could be as far as 16 feet away, right? However, he says if someone had enough technical know how, it would take very little to extend that range, right? Because what they're using to extend the range would be the antennas, right? The antennas. Hey, Jude, good to see you. Thank you for being here. I believe Sebastian was getting more outgoing and speaking up to CP. He was tired of being bullied and started to tell people about it. He knew CP didn't like him and he was a threat to getting Faith. I agree with that, Detroit Rock City. I think that is a big reason, you know, in my opinion as well, that we're seeing that snowball effect, right? And then things weren't going very well. And because there were CPS reports, that was going to jeopardize Chris getting Faith, right? In my opinion. MC Rapping Recovery says, just pull the car. And then I got the moon and it said that the whole bunch of stuff about distortion. It's so funny that you brought this up. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to me. Well, more so too, because Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom's like, okay, well, what actually happens? And I was more so, you know, kind of looking for, you know, different evidence of things. And so I'm so glad she mentioned that too. Town Check Cafe says, Lady Freedoms, in my opinion, the image of the person on the left looks a little taller than CP, in my opinion, allegedly. Yeah, we kind of did a comparison on that. Chris and Katie seem to be about the same height. However, if someone was at a little bit higher of an elevation, because it is kind of not hilly everywhere, but then there's also points where there's a ditch, right? A pretty deep ditch, not deep dish pizza, but deep ditch there that goes through the common area. Hey, that's a long vessel, looks like a plane with no wing. In the photo. Hey, Holly S. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. All right, so I wanted to go ahead. Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom says there's also the issue I had unrelated to Sebastian, of course, with my Ring camera and Wi-Fi being jammed. Yeah, well, and that's the thing too, because I think if it was in fact jammed up, that it would, detour any video at all. Like, because I've watched where they've completely fried phones, and it was using something called EMP, right? And it just fries the thing and it never works again. So I'm like, well, that can't be it, right? Because the camera went back to working. So so all right. So let's just go back to this. Okay, so yeah, they could extend the range. Now, however, he says if someone had enough technical know-how, they could extend the range for very little. A sophomore or junior in college could probably do it, but it does get into electrical and computer engineering skills to boost that distance, right? So it's as simple as someone who is a sophomore or junior in college, right, that has some education, but it does take some electrical and computer engineering skills to boost the distance. And, again, Katie possesses those qualities, or that that training and education, excuse me. Hello, SI officer. Good to see you. Welcome in. And so, this is very doable. Very, very doable. Most importantly, since EMI eavesdrops on the wires, not a computer recording footage to a hard device, your camera doesn't actually have to be recording in order for someone to eavesdrop on it. Now, that is the scariest thing I've ever heard, right? Talk about hacking into someone's account and completely, like the guy said earlier, ruin their day, right? So it says, more importantly, since EMI eavesdrops on the wires, right, not the computer, the device doesn't even have to be recording for someone to eavesdrop on it, right, or look into the cameras. If you open your lens, even if you think you have the camera off, we're collecting, Fu says, basically, uh, anywhere that there's a camera. Now there's a risk of the live real-time feed being collected by someone as close as a meteor or so, or meter, excuse me, meter, not meteor, a meter or so through the walls, right? So that's you have to be pretty close, but it's doable. I also want to point out that's why I always keep my webcam closed off. I don't ever allow for people to see my see through my webcam, because they're just too easy to hack. If you have your lens open, right? So closing the lens is a good idea, or covering it up. Even if you think you have the camera off, we're collecting that basically anywhere the camera is, you're at risk, right? So for consumers, Fu says a plastic lens over might not be guaranteed to protect you. Infrared signals can still get through them, but it is a good first step to battling this kind of cyber threat. There's a classic beware of your surroundings, Fu says. Maybe you don't want to put this camera on your wall you share with your neighbor, right? So, as for camera manufacturers, Fu hopes these findings are a wake up call. It's nice that we have all of the software and these devices, but at the end of the day, they emit electrons and they can get out, Fu says. If you want to have complete cyber security story, yes, do the good science. But you also have to do the computer engineering and the electrical engineering if you want to protect against these kinds of eavesdropping surveillance threats. So, really, really smart article, in my opinion, well written for everybody to kind of understand what we're dealing with here, right? So, because it's very difficult for us to really pinpoint some of this stuff when we're not aware of it, obviously. And then when we do become aware of it, it's just a matter of protecting ourselves. Although sometimes these people can really get ahead of things, right? But I do think it's important to remember that these exist out there and that, you know, anybody who's anybody can have your system hacked open. I just have a gut feeling that when it comes out that everyone is going to be absolutely shocked of who that is, in my opinion. I think it is someone they haven't thought of, but is connected, in my opinion. Whoever's carrying the what looks to be like a sheet, town chat. Roxy says, nothing wrong with that. Hey Jude, I just miss seeing you in the chats is all. I know we love Hey Jude. We love Hey Jude. Hey Jude's been on a vacay. We love Joe. Joe. We love Joe. That's funny. Detroit says, remember the report from here in Detroit when they jammed the lady's camera and stole her car? At that time, there was a whole gang doing it in the same area. They explained it on the local news. Oh, okay, Detroit. Let me see if I can't find that. Let me take a look. Oh, I don't want that. All right, let's go back to camera jammers Detroit. Okay, was it about 3 years ago? It looks or there's one, thieves using Wi-Fi jammers to, disrupt security cameras during Glendale break-ins, and then there's another one, how criminals are using jammers, de-authors to disrupt Wi-Fi security cameras. Let's watch that one and see. Whoops, daisy. Hold on, let me put you on there. All right. Hey, Judy, my avatar that I changed for tonight makes me laugh every time. Okay, here we go. I made myself look like a voluptuous lady here. Um, let's see. Oh, here we go. All right.
Yeah, exactly. I spoke with a woman who says her SUV was stolen right out in her driveway. And when she went back to look at her Ring camera footage, hours were missing at the same time her car was stolen.
Okay, guys, so just to let you know, that's what I was thinking would happen if it was jammed up would be and thank you so much for the recommendation, Detroit, would be that there would be, a lapse in footage altogether. And that's not what we're seeing here. So I'm thinking it had to have been hacked instead of jammed. Hey Jude, thank you so much for your super sticker. Oh, or your super chat with the heart. Thank you so much. Aw. Okay, here, let's go ahead and
I spoke with a local technology expert who says that was not a coincidence. You see them on almost every block, a Ring or some form of doorbell camera system, the small home security device gaining significant popularity over the last decade. But as their use has grown, so has the ability of hackers.
If you're relying on wireless to be a security thing, you're looking at wrong.
Chris Burns, the
right, because only the hardwired camera systems are unhackable, right? Because they're actually hacking into the Wi-Fi. All right, there we go.
Owner of Techie Gurus says security cameras that use Wi-Fi to record are more about convenience than actual security because Wi-Fi can be easily disrupted, preventing the camera from capturing who is around your home. And criminals are catching on. A woman in Detroit found out the hard way when she says hours of her Ring camera footage were missing during the same time her blue Trailblazer was stolen from her driveway on August 14th. Similar stories popping up across the country. And Burns says he knows why.
Wireless signals are very easy to jam or block.
By using a deauthor or Wi-Fi jamming device.
Like this.
That's what I forgot, guys, the deauthor. So yeah, and he's going to show us this. And we kind of went into these deauthors too before. And I'm glad we found it, Detroit. I was like, oh, good. Here we go.
Right here.
A deauthor, which can be the size of an Apple Watch.
Look how small.
Will overwhelm a Wi-Fi system, forcing the doorbell camera to stop recording if you stand close enough.
See, and it stops recording. So I'm thinking it's more of a hack job. A hack job than a jam job.
Accessory only costing about $10 to $50 and can be found on Amazon.
But a jammer is going to cost you maybe $150 to $1,000 depending on what you're trying to do.
And it's highly illegal, so it's more difficult to find.
And check out all of those antennas, right? And that's designed in order to get a longer range. Kind of what we were talking about earlier.
But a powerful jammer can prevent an entire street from recording on its doorbell security camera with the switch of a button.
Wow. And see, again, guys, here's 2.4 hertz, right? Gigahertz right here. And they said that they range from 2.4 all the way to 5.0 or 0.5. Sorry if I get that wrong.
Reached out to Ring.
Oh, here we go. 5, right? So 2.4 to 5 gigahertz is the range. And see, it could jam up a whole entire block.
About the issue, and a spokesperson sent a statement saying, quote, like any Wi-Fi enabled device, Wi-Fi signal interference may affect Ring device performance. If customers are experiencing issues with connectivity, we encourage them to reach out to Ring customer support. So how can customers protect themselves?
Hey, little Miss Sharon.
For true security, it should always be hardwired. It should always be plugged into like Ethernet or something like that.
I wish they would have let him explain a little further.
A spokesperson with Ring went on to say, yes, they are aware of this problem, but it's rare. But the technology expert I spoke with says as time goes on, this technology will get cheaper, so jammers could become more popular. So it's important that everyone become more aware.
Okay, great. And I agree with that completely. And, you know, and this is from, let's see, 3 years ago. So pretty newer, you know, still a newer source. September 6th of 2022 is when this came out. I wonder if they have anything hacker security. This is terrible because I do these searches on my computer and the FBI is going to come knocking on my door like, what are you looking up these things for? Flipper 0 as a Wi-Fi camera, CCTV. Let's check this out really quick.
Flipper 0 versus IP camera, who's going to win? In this example, I've got an IP camera connected to the local Wi-Fi network. I'm viewing the output on this phone. It's connected to the internet. Now, this camera, like a lot of IoT devices, only supports 2.4 gigahertz, and that means that devices such as the Flipper 0 can attack the Wi-Fi network that the camera is using. Now, in this example, I'm going to use the Flipper 0 to launch a deauth attack or deauthentication attack. Again, at the moment, the camera is working, but as soon as I start...
Well, and it's my understanding too, perfectly a perfect boy mom, because of the wiring, the hack actually, when they're hacking into the system, using something like the this technology, the electromagnetic eye technology, it's actually attacking the wires. So it would, you know, unlike a jammer that attacks the Wi-Fi signals and the, you know, gigahertz, apparently this other technology can hack into and attacks the wires, not the computer or the Wi-Fi signal, if that makes sense. But yes, I would like to look up ways. I think that's a good idea to look up ways that you could jam up hardwired. Look at ways that you can hack into the hardwired, excuse me. Oh, there we go. Sorry, guys.
The deauth attack, what you'll notice is nothing is shown on the phone, and on the camera, you can see a red light is displayed. Basically, the IP camera has been knocked off the network and no output is shown on the phone. I'll stop that deauth attack. And what you'll notice now is the LED has gone green. So putting it back to its original position and clicking tap to refresh, what you'll notice is the stream is now working. Flipper Zero versus IP camera, who's going to win? In this example, I've got an...
Okay, let's see how. Because I don't think they killed the Wi-Fi off. Hardware, I think this is a hack in order to hardwire your device. Let's see. Hey Jude, my search history is all true crime. Same. Even when I take a break from Sebastian's case, I'm looking at other cases, Bo says I was gonna say that Lady Freedom, LOL, be careful what you're searching for online. I know, because they're gonna say, how come she's looking up illegal camera jammers and then she's looking up how to hack into camera systems that are hardwired? Oh Lord. I have to get up in less than 5 hours. Oh, okay. Well, you sleep well. Town Chat Cafe. Don't be like me and sleep in your earbuds and then you can't find them. They're somewhere in the bed in the morning. Thanks for being here. I want to use my neighbor's pool without them knowing, so I I need this tech. Joe, they'll see you swimming in the pool. I know I need to jam the cameras and then also try to figure out how to get in after hours to the pool here because they close it at a certain time. And I'm like, oh, I would love to go after my live and when no one's down there, Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom says also were all the homes in the neighborhood built with Ring cameras installed. My neighborhood, all the home. Oh, okay, yeah, all the homes were uh, Ring camera ready, right? Oh, that's interesting. I think with it being an older neighborhood or, you know, more established or mature neighborhood, I don't think that is the case. Let me see if I can't do a quick search. Is on Victoria Place. And that'd be Hendersonville, Tennessee. Let's see. Well, it looks like somebody's got their home for sale over there. All right, let's see. Yeah, I don't know how we would be able to tell that. I'm just guessing it's an older neighborhood because I just kind of tried to type it in, but no. Roxy R says while wired Ring cameras cannot be jammed with a radio frequency jammer, they can be disabled by physically cutting the exactly physically cutting that power cord or network wires. Yeah, absolutely. A jammer works by interfering with the wireless signals. Yes, absolutely, like the Wi-Fi. But a wired camera transmits data and power through physical cables, not through the air. Right. Thank you, Roxy. Thank you so much. And one thing I asked earlier, I said, and I did it on my phone. Let me see if I can't just pull it up on my phone really quick and read it back. Oh no, I had to delete that other app because oh my gosh, I have no storage on my phone. Okay, so if we go to how long can you, oops. Okay, so how long can you jam up the Wi-Fi security cameras? And basically what it said when I pulled it in earlier is that you can, in fact, jam them up for as long as you have battery life to the source of whatever you're using to jam them with. So I thought that was interesting too, because in that case, that could explain why they started they started to be jammed at, 3:11 in the morning on the morning of February 23rd, and then they went back to working again. Um, and I think maybe we could ask, why would my camera be stuck? Okay. So I just said, why would my security camera be stuck on a date and time? And it says, there we go. All right, let me go ahead and share this one because this is a YouTube video. We'll see what it says here.
Assistant from Wells Fargo. You can quickly know what you spend on things like food.
Fargo, what did I spend on groceries this month?
Hey, Dad, can the guy stay for dinner?
Oh, sorry, guys.
Learn more at wellsfargo.com/getfargo.
Where'd this come from?
I guess
Pantry.
you can't skip it.
Where'd you come from? The pantry.
Hello there, let's talk today about the Hikvision camera changing the date automatically. As you can see, I have the date here and it's not correct. As we can read, it's 1/1/2004. It's not correct. When I change the date automatically comes back to this one, the default one, and I need to fix that, okay?
See, but I understand why a camera would go back to the date and time of the beginning of the year, right? Or something like that. But it's so weird, isn't it? It's so weird. Thanks, Roxy. Not the Proudfoots, Bo. Not their home, someone else in the neighborhood. So, hey, Blind Talon, thanks for being here. Construction at Victoria Place residential development in Hendersonville was complete around 2005. It is not a new construction project, according to Google. Thank you, Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom. Yeah, I wasn't sure how old it was, but I knew it wasn't young either because Bobby had talked about how her sister had lived over there and that they had lived there for years. So YouTuber is here and she's wearing the pajamas. She's wearing her pajamas. Thanks for being here, YouTuber. I know, and I'm thinking it's not even the jammers, right? I don't even know. It's like this is so crazy, and I'm just trying to figure out why would this date be stuck like that, right? And then go back to normal. What's freezing the date and time, That would be a great theory and would explain the cameras. Did they hide the jammer in Katie's work van? Well, I'm wondering, Jude, because they didn't and to my knowledge, they didn't want that van talked about right on Nancy Grace, because Nancy Grace is like, well, what about Katie's work van? Well, we can't give you that information. Well, why not? Because her work, and she's like, well, did you ask the work her work? And he says no. And Nancy's just like grilling him, which is fantastic because they do need to ask follow-up questions, right? I sensed I needed to ask a follow-up question. Wait a minute, says Wild Wolf. Where is their hazmat suits? Come on now. You don't go to a dump without the hazmat suit on. Yeah, I mean, they were kind of casually dressed for the landfill, right? I'm thinking that the electronics did go to the landfill, guys. I mean, I think that's what they were looking for. Although Sheriff Sonny Weatherford at that time was talking about a recovery, according to the news, what they were reporting. Good morning, wait, what? Thank you for being here. So, very interesting. Very, very interesting stuff. Let's see what this guy has to say about this.
I'm going to teach you how to fix that. Let me just check here the configuration for the date. So when I come to system settings.
Okay, so he's just showing us how to fix the configuration for the date. I don't think that is going to be a good source. So we'll go ahead and take that off of there. Put my avatar huge on there. Okay, let's see. Let's take a look at what we got here. Camera display or camera time display freezes. On August 2nd, 2023, the issue could be that the time settings on the camera are different to the NVR. We have seen glitchy time issues in the past. Okay, so that sounds kind of familiar. I think I watched a Mob Crew video that was talking about this, right? Depending on the NVR model, you should be able to access directly to the connected fisheye camera using virtual host. If your NVR is an older model that doesn't support visual host, then the only way to reboot it, just one specific camera, would be to unplug it from the NVR PoE switch for 10 to 15 seconds and then plug it back in. That seems to fix a lot of things. The issue could be that the time settings on the camera are different to the NVR. We have seen glitchy time issues in the past when the camera is set to a different time zone to the NVR, or the camera has DST set by NVR. Set, but the NVR doesn't, right? So they're not matching up in that regard. But see, that doesn't explain why something would happen like that, right? All of a sudden it was working and then it wasn't working, I guess. And now another post from Reddit talks about how the NVR is pushing a time sync, right? It's trying to sync up the times. My camera won't let me set it up. Let's see. And this one's about like holding the date and time, and which is, okay, but this was doing fine and then all of a sudden it wasn't. So I'm just kind of trying to figure that out. It's so weird, right? But I do think it does have something to do with the NVR, I'm guessing anyway. Yeah, Tuesday, right? The 27th. Because Mob was saying that it was out the 23rd, right? It's showing out the 23rd. And then somebody sent me something about chat GPT. Sorry guys, I was just getting a quick update. There. I know, that's what I'm wondering too, Cinderella. Could they do both? You know, could they be doing both? Um, but yeah, it's so strange how it just all of a sudden wasn't working and then, oh, back to normal again. YouTubers here says, thought, didn't someone say that the camera already had timestamp issues? Isn't it hardwired to Wi-Fi? Well, see, that's what we were trying to figure out too. So it had to have been hacked and not jammed up, is my understanding, just kind of going over all of this again. Because if it was in fact jammed up, it wouldn't have shown any video, and then also, you know, it wouldn't have been able to jam it if it was hardwired, you know, instead of Wi-Fi. I mean, I'm sure they could do both. Yeah, I'm sure they could do both, Cinderella. Good to see you. Yeah, they would just need to turn off the jammer. They would just need to turn off, you know, because it'd be on and then they would just turn it off, is my understanding. Hey, Jude. Yeah, the camera was hardwired. Yeah. Yeah. So in that case, I mean, if it was, um, that would only leave it to be hacked, in my opinion. Just because they said that you know, you can't jam it if it's hardwired, because you're just jamming the signal, not the wires. Hey, Jude says maybe Chris took it back to Memphis. Or the landfill, Roxy says. I'm going to stop the next Brinks or ADT van to ask them what they have in their vans. Roxy, exactly. You know what's funny? I don't see a lot of them around, come to think of it. Katie does have a specific skill set. And a lot of it too, Hey Jude, is very easy, simple wiring. Like we were watching the one earlier that it's just like all you do is get a motherboard and then a couple of, you know, different you know, you just basically cut a cord and rewire it to fit into the motherboard as you know, it is basically a charging port, and then it wires to a little battery, you know, the 9 volts. We're gonna be stalking all the Brinks fans, these poor people. Oh Lord. We have a question for you. You know, Holly S., that's a really good point too. We always have to remember Lori's presence there, right? Because it's like something was off, in my opinion, there, in terms of, well, just all of it. I mean, she couldn't have made it back that fast. It's just like Mama Socks, you know, hovering around. Same with Melissa, you know? Yeah, there's a device that you can hack with. Exactly. So I'm thinking it's a hack, not a jam. You know, I'm thinking it's more of a hack than a jam. All right, guys. So I do want to go ahead and bring this video in that I made earlier. Let's see. Am I sharing this? Share. Okay, good. All right. So let me unshare this. And then we'll share this. Because there was a couple of things, and I've been reviewing the other video, right? And I just think it's important that we kind of remember what's been said, right? And what's been going on. So I know that this is not, you know, the best video, you know, in terms of content, but I think it does put things into context, which is good. Get these ads going. And here we go. All right, just bear with me. And we'll play.
Keep searching, keep looking. We keep putting up new flyers. I know a lot of places, they take them down after so long. We just keep going back and putting more up. I referred my original request just to anyone that's willing. Don't let him become forgotten. Don't let him become lost in.
And guys, I just want to point out that when the Hatfield and McCoys went there, they did not see, signs up for Sebastian, the yard signs or anything like that to what they put in their video. So I just kind of wanted to throw that out there. I was disappointed. I thought maybe I was wrong and, we might see yard signs all over or, that Chris and Katie have been putting them up, but it seems like they haven't been, unfortunately. So there's that.
The next story, not to supersede other children because they all deserve just as much, if not more attention.
Just as much, if not more attention. Other children, other than her own missing child, deserves just as much, if not more attention than Sebastian. What in the actual F are we listening to? Hey, Dawn Emery, good to see you. Oh, thank you, Detroit. Detroit says, I'm going to ask my son-in-law about it tomorrow. He worked for Vigilante Home Security for years, and he's head of security for Henry Ford Hospital now. Oh, cool. He knows a lot about cameras and electronics. Yay. All right. Well, great. I would love to know, I would love to know what he thinks about it. Absolutely. Because I'm just kind of faking it till I make it. And then, we're just going over this stuff because, it's interesting. And I love learning about new things. And then of course the security aspect of it is scary if people can mirror your phone or hack into your cameras. It's crazy because that's beyond a peeping Tom, in my opinion.
All children do, but I would say just please don't let him become forgotten and lost because we're not.
Guys, she just smiled, forgotten and lost, right? And she smiles. What is that? It's so strange, right? It is so strange, Katie. All right, let's go back just a little bit.
Because we're never going to stop. We're never going to let that happen if we can help it.
Ultimately, the issue is...
Sorry, guys. We're just going to go back on Katie just a little bit.
Become forgotten and lost because we're never going to stop. We're never going to let that happen if we can help it.
Ultimately, the issue is that, you say something that really gets under me sometimes, Chris, and that's that you say, well, it's our personal life. We don't want to talk about it, but y'all came to social media asking for social media's help. You know what I mean? And with that,
asking for help is one thing, but
yeah, but that's different, bro.
Well, hold on.
That's different. They came to social media to ask for help looking for their son, not to stop the case. Not CPS reports. I mean, come on.
And last time I checked, there's not one show where we came onto a show or myself came onto a show and turned it into a bash session. I didn't do that. Not gonna do it. And quite frankly, I'm pretty confident when I say this. It's team, let's find Sebastian. Let's bring him home. I don't care about the BS. I don't.
Is that my paperwork? What's wrong? Oh, my paperwork's here? I think my fucking paperwork is here. Hold on. BRB. But you inviting a stranger into this fucking house. Hold on a minute. Hold on. Let me get a hold of my motherfucking household real quick. You don't know him? Hi.
Good afternoon, ma'am. I'm Deputy Samael with the hashtag.
Oh my fucking God. Bitch. Bitch. I swear, I hate you motherfuckers. What in the fuck are you wearing? Please get a picture of him right now.
You've been served on behalf of hashtag FUBJ.
What is in here? What is this? Paper? Do you motherfuckers even know who this is? Yeah, they know your voice. Look at what he wrote. Paper. Hashtag FUBJ. I was so fucking excited. I really thought that bitch was serving me. I was happier than hell. Fuck y'all. What are you doing? And why are you dressed like that? I know who you're trying to be. Look at this. Look at this motherfucker, y'all. Can you see him? Oh my God. I'm so irritated right now. I really thought I was getting fucking. Show me your.
My name's Deputy Samael. I'm with the Special Policing Department for the hashtag FUB.
Show me your thing.
Yeah, I got my super soaker. My super soaker.
I can't stand y'all. Well, I'm gonna get off here and go visit with the process server. That's what I'm gonna do.
Okay, guys. So, yep, Sebastian is still out there missing, right? And we got Chris doing that. Meanwhile, we have Seth, who is out there, standing out there for answers, looking for his son. And it's crazy. So, Detroit, I just wanted to say, too, the ADT, I know that was so confusing in the beginning. I think those photos came from Redfin, if I'm not mistaken. It was when their house was on the market right before they moved in. So their home had an ADT system prior to them moving in. And those pictures were just basically from the listing that showed the ADT sign in the yard. So, because I know a lot of people were thinking that too, and I told the Hatfields that too. I said, that's kind of a real estate picture rather than that their yard at that time. But we definitely saw the light that that is still there, and I think that's most important to recognize and point out that there's a nice big bright light illuminating the front porch when Katie chooses to have it on. Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom says, why would anyone be thinking about the other children when your child is missing? In my opinion, she's overthinking what to say. I agree with that there too. But I mean, most of the time, you wouldn't think you'd be thinking about other kids, as bad as that sounds. I know that does sound selfish, but I mean, I don't know that I would be thinking about other kids now. It would probably, if I wasn't already into the, sharing the flyers and everything like that, it may make me someone that wanted to share flyers more, knowing that, what others are going through. I'll be mad too, Hey Jude, if they get their way. Oh, I know. YouTubers here says, don't let him be forgotten, but don't hand out his flyers at a huge public event like Pigfest. Exactly. It's different, bro. Well, and that's the thing too. They said, well, they weren't they asked for help, but they weren't anticipating actually solving the case. Did you guys catch that too? I mean, tell on yourself without telling on yourself, right? Holly S says, boy, mom, I agree. She was trying to come across as a caring woman and a mom and missed the mark huge, in my opinion. I agree. Yeah. Sling Blade did it. YouTuber. Exactly. Oh gosh, they're all it's all vile. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like you should know that's probably not the best way to handle things. Hey, Poppy Love, and it's just terrible. These people are so unhinged. If they do know something, in my opinion, they could tell everyone at any time. Right. Talk about trusting the wrong people. Well, and that's the thing. It's like if you're not a Chroma channel, Katie's not going to talk to regular people that are looking for Sebastian. They don't want help. They want notoriety. They want people to laugh at them on a Saturday night when they've got nothing better to do. They don't want to search. They don't want to hand out flyers. They don't want to show up to vigils. They really are, Roxy. Holly S with the little green faces. I mean, and that's kind of where they choose to be and hang out and stuff like that, which is unfortunate for Sebastian, because they could be out there looking, especially if they do think he's in the woods. If they think he's in the woods, then look in the woods. And I'm here to tell you guys, he wouldn't have got far without any shoes on. He just wouldn't have gotten far without any shoes on. It didn't take long to tell who really cares about Sebastian and who I could align with when I first started looking for truth and fact-based with people who love God and Sebastian. And that's it too. I mean, you just have to have a certain amount of a conscience, right? You have to have a certain amount of a care, compassion, right? And Chris is begging for compassion from everybody, but what about Sebastian? Oh, I don't blame you. Seclusion works. It's so bad. It's so bad. It is awful. It is awful. Seclusion works. I know, and I'm sorry. It is terrible. And the thing is I wasn't gonna play it, but then I figured, everybody's been playing it. They're gonna put it on a billboard, like Holly was saying, and I do think that that's good for people to understand what we're dealing with here, because it isn't something that we're used to seeing in any capacity. I was asking people around, I was like, can you recall a case where we saw a stepfather acting this way? And everyone said no. You know? Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom says, right, didn't KP say they used to hike all the time? Why not go hiking and searching in the woods since that's where you think he is? I know. Or, the sleepy police station. If they really don't have a whole lot going on, why aren't they searching? Why can't they get together a search party? I don't understand it. The billboard is already up. And it's, let me see if I have it on. Let me see. I have too many windows open. Let me go back to this. In my channel. I think I did. Yes, I did post it. I want to make sure I have it. Oh, I also stumbled on something on hindsight too. As well. Okay, here it is. Let me just click on this. So this is the billboard that they're going to be putting up. Okay, good. I'm just glad, or that they have put up, I should say. Aw, Seclusion, I'm so sorry, honey. I know. Well, Vic says, here's the answer. They know where he is and they don't care, in my opinion. I can see that. Because they do think it's a joke, and it's very upsetting, to see it. And I just said disgrace to a missing child's case, and he calls himself a stepdad, right? So here's the picture, and they say still missing, still laughing. 1-800 the lost. 1-800 call FBI. There's a $50,000 reward, right? Call the Dog the Bounty Hunter. 844-922-3236, right? And there's our beautiful Sebastian. So, this is the mockery that they're making. And, like I said, I figured we should do a little bit of a comparison about what's been going on in the case, because maybe some of these people don't know what's going on, Some of these people might not know what's going on. We just don't know. So, we really can only bring awareness, especially about this. So it is terrible, though. I agree. It's not something that it wasn't the best video that I enjoy. I really enjoy making, videos that are nicer than that. But, I'm working with it. Seclusion Work says, or Poppy Love says, Seclusion, I'm really sorry. I don't know what's going on. Is there something we can do to help you? Aw, thank you, Poppy Love. You guys are the best. Yeah, Seclusion's been going through it. So, yeah, this is kind of what we're dealing with as of lately. And of course, just trying to spread awareness about what we're dealing with in the case. The police are kind of coming out with different information. I did want to share this also with you guys. And again, this is going to be a little bit not so nice content.
Do you want to
We
address?
need to, listen in. And it is Chris again. Now, Chris Proudfoot said, yes, it would be very odd for Sebastian to be communicating with Katie's mom, right? And let's hear from Mr. Foot.
Do you want to address the claim that Sebastian was messaging or FaceTiming with Katie's mom the night he went missing?
I can tell you that law enforcement has dug into that, and as far as I know, there is no proof of that.
Okay. Would that be something that would be odd if he did?
I would, yeah, very odd.
Okay.
Right. Now, Chris said that, and I just want to point out the date really quick. He said it would be very odd if Sebastian spoke with Katie's mom. He was on Cluminati. The excerpt was on May 18th, 2024. Now, this right here is Katie Proudfoot and Sebastian Rogers attending her mother's wedding virtually on May 3rd of 2020, right? So, Bullhorn Betty showed this on her live. It was March 29th of 2025. So this says here, the groom's sister writes on May 3rd, 2020, attended my first corona quarantine wedding today. I did screenshots of the FaceTime to try and capture the moment. Congratulations, Tim and Francis. We love you guys. Right? And there's Sebastian in the background being given access to by a tier 3 registered RO. Or, excuse me, registered SO. Hey, John Emery, good to see you. So, there's the proof in the pudding, right, guys? There's the proof in the pudding. And as sad as it is, this is what we're dealing with, right? Thank you, Anne. Thank you, John Emery, for prayers, guys. Aw, thank you, Seclusion Works. That's so sweet. Aw, thank you. I'm so glad you're here. Thanks, Detroit Rock City. Yeah, and you know, it's just the saddest thing. It's just the saddest thing that we have to go through all of this. I don't know what the big break is going to be. I'm hoping that something comes up sooner rather than later. You know, now one more thing I kind of wanted to go over tonight before I let you guys go is this new footage that is supposed to be coming out from At Night about the bowling alley, right? So we all kind of thought, based on what Katie told us, that they stopped back home after they were at BJ's, right? It was just Sebastian and Katie. And they were putting up the snacks and things that they bought at BJ's wholesale. And then they headed off to the bowling alley in order to play a couple of games, bowl a couple of games. But then they realized that there was a league, so they couldn't, or all of the bowling lanes were full and they couldn't get in there. And so Katie said instead they stayed and played games. But this is the newest information from At Night. To promote utmost transparency, At Night will release key footage from the bowling alley visit involving Sebastian Rogers and his mother, Katie Proudfoot. This evidence will illustrate why a brief 10-minute stop to the facility hardly justifies the mischaracterized depiction in their press release, which falsely claimed that the pair enjoyed the evening. Sebastian appeared visibly startled, standing timidly behind his mother, Katie, throughout. The duo did not bowl at all. They merely approached the front desk before promptly leaving, right? And then did they head over straight away to the Texas Roadhouse, or did they go somewhere else? You know? I mean, it just makes you wonder. Kiki's the best, right? Seclusion. Aw. Thanks, Detroit. Miracles do happen all the time, Detroit. I agree. I never want to lose hope. Never, never, never. Pretty soon I will know what happened to Sebastian, Emmanuel, and Summer. Maybe the mystery behind the Bermuda Triangle. That's one I've always thought about too. Seclusion Works. I've always been interested in the Bermuda Triangle myself. Ann Reynolds says, I look for you on here all the time, Seclusion Works, because you're so good at some of the things that we don't know. You can help in here. Aw, thanks, Ann. That's so sweet. I agree. And I loved hearing Seclusion Works theory too. Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom says, in my opinion, At Night is going to release everything they can till LE talks to someone and gives them the answer. I'm hoping so. I still am just kind of mulling over this and waiting for them to release the footage. And um, we just don't know if they're going to, when they're going to do it. I kind of did a little check on X earlier today, and it wasn't out. Let me look at night. Let's see if I can find them here. And it doesn't look like there's anything new just yet. Let me see. Poor Charlie Kirk. Yeah, that was a terrible thing today. That was just a terrible, terrible thing today. Oh, I'm so surprised I wasn't following. I just followed Mr. and Mrs. E. I'm surprised I wasn't following them on X. All right. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. September 7th. We did show the video yesterday a little bit. I do not see anything new today, unfortunately. Looks like they're following the Charlie Kirk stuff too. Mr. E's Crimecast says critical thinking encouraged. A teen disappears under suspicious circumstances. Number 1, parent A is protesting loudly outside the sheriff's office 18 months later, demanding answers. Number 2, parent B is performing SNL style skits on YouTube mocking parent A. Who is your suspect? Hey, that sounds like a quick murder mystery, a mini murder mystery, in my opinion, right? It sure does. It's like, how long does it take us to figure this out, right? Oh, goodness sakes. Roxy, I know, right? And Monkey too. Roxy says, Seclusion, can you send us answers and let us know where Michael Monkey Vaughn is so we can tell Brandy his mother? Aw, Roxy, that is so sweet. I know, poor Brandy. I'm so glad she's doing well. There was also, I'm so glad you said that too. Roxy, thank you so much for being here. Let's see. I wanted to share this out if you guys didn't get a chance to look at it. And I think it was a little while back when Brooks sent it to me, and I shared it out. But they are getting together a memorial park for Monkey. Here he is. He's so cute. My goodness, guys. I hope you guys, okay, yeah, I hope you guys can see it. But yes, it says a park for Monkey, get on board. And that was from 7 days ago. So I shared that out. He's just so adorable, guys. So adorable and such a good family, well deserving of answers, in my opinion. Detroit Rock City, the E family is so amazing too. And definitely say prayers for the E's because they also, need our love and prayers. Good people, just good people, right, Roxy? Yes. In my opinion, oh, let's see. What was the next one? Oh, Perfectly. I wonder how much longer before they release it. I'm wondering that too, Roxy. I'm wondering when they're gonna come out with this new info, right? Hopefully pretty soon. I know that they were talking about getting it as soon as I think they had some oh geez. I think they have some redactions that they needed to put in. Or, I don't know, maybe there were some things, I will say, guys, that it's been rumored, and I don't know how true it is, but I guess Katie, had taken it upon herself to smack Sebastian in the head or the back of the head, something to that effect. That I don't know if it's true or not. I really hope not. I don't know if maybe they would take that out just to not, get everybody riled up or what. Oh, yes, Vic, 100%. I wish Little Harmony would be found too. I know they just offered her monster father, time off his sentence if he would just tell where he put her. Perfectly perfect boy mom says I love seeing Mr. E fired up last week. We've all been fired up lately, I'll tell you. You know. Oh, Little Harmony is so adorable, guys. We're one of these days we're going to do a whole live on Harmony. I have a lot of information to kind of go over, really interesting stuff. Even from, the dating days. And, I really see a very strong vibe in this case of the other parent, like Adam Montgomery, deliberately wanting to hurt the other parent. Just echoing what the E's have said on X, and then also, just looking back on that case, and even someone testified to that. Adam didn't like Harmony because she reminded him of Crystal, um, which is extremely sad. And I mean, everybody's all on board with everybody else until something horrible happens, I guess, or whatever it is. Adam Montgomery had a weird relationship with both of the women, but I'd love to deep dive into it. So many need to be found, Bo, really. And it is so heartbreaking to try, and it's like every day we get in more posters to share, and sometimes they're found and sometimes they're not. That other little girl was found in Tennessee, and I can't remember her name off the top of my head. But she was found safe, so thank God. Yeah, the ones that have been found have bad endings, Roxy. That's what's so sad, Yeah. And it's infuriating, right? YouTube, Seclusion Work says, I want to know too. It's infuriating to YouTubers here. It really is. It really is. Yeah. But we all have a lot of different ideas and theories, and I think if we all put our heads together, notes together, we could figure it out at some point. We just need law enforcement to be more honest and forthright, and we really need them to dig down deep into their conscience and into their humanity, and think about how it would make them feel if it was their son, in my opinion, and if they were being mocked by the other parents. And Little Jack and Lily Bo, yes, yes, I've heard that has turned into quite the atrocity there, you know. Yeah, I hated that she looked like her mom, and she did look just like Crystal, in my opinion. They were very much alike in the looks. And sometimes even the mannerisms. Sometimes it's a control thing. And for Adam, I think it was a big time control thing where, you know, Adam wanted to hurt Crystal, and when she would go to talk to Harmony, he wouldn't allow for it, and there was probably other reasons. And I think there was a lot of abuse. And baby Emmanuel, YouTuber, absolutely. I mean, he's still out there, and I wanted to do a memorial, but I thought they'd find him. Bo says yes. Seeing the missing list is so long, and that's just the ones that we know about. Oh my gosh. Amen, Roxy, because that's the thing. Many of them we don't hear about, right? Especially like indigenous people, because everything's handled by the reservation, and so they don't get pushed out by a lot of these bigger organizations, because they're kind of a separate government from us almost. Hey, C. Taylor. C. Taylor says, yes, 8-year-old Samantha Shelley found safe in Tennessee. Yay. Thank you so much. I couldn't remember her name. I could see her face in my head. I was like, I know that I heard that she was found safe, and I'm like, oh, thank God. But they do find these kids quickly, especially if they just, wander off. And sadly, some do end up in the water. Ah. Ann Reynolds says, Seclusion Works. I want to tell you what God did for my husband. Back in 2006, he was diagnosed with stage 5 melanoma cancer, and I got half of the county I live in to pray for him, and he is still here today. God has done his will for him. Oh, thank you, Ann Reynolds, for that. That is so sweet of you. Thank you for that. And yeah, we always have to hold on to hope. I agree. And prayers work, and we're all praying for Seclusion Works because we love Seclusion Works here. Candace was live yesterday and she was wasted. Oh my goodness, really, Detroit? Oh Lord. Oh Lord, Candace. Just when you think that they can't get any worse. Well, I don't know why people come up here drunk though. Like if you're gonna drink, maybe don't come up here drunk. Oh Lord. Detroit. I've been on her. Was that on her can? I went over and checked out can. I really have. I you know, not even worried to say it, but YouTuber says Ann Reynolds, that's so wonderful. Prayers do work, Roxy. Prayers do work. Perfectly perfect boy mom says amen. They do. Seclusion. Well, we know you're a fighter for sure, for sure, for sure. What's new? Roxy says, what's new? Candace is always wasted. Lord almighty. Oh my gosh. I mean, I guess she's got to stay faded with the kind of, you know, stuff on her conscience. We talk about that a lot, guys, and it does. It's a heavy burden, right? It weighs a lot. You probably get side-eyed more than you don't, when you're in that situation. Was it really bad? Was she falling over to try? Oh Lord. You know, that is sad though. I just think really, 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 really bad things happen there. And we were talking about it, another creator and I think maybe possibly she could have been even buried somewhere within, the vicinity of the property, if not on it, somewhere where only someone who knows, right? It's kind of a scary concept. Um, oh my goodness. Well, guys, I am so, so, so glad that you were all here with me today and for us to kind of do this research together, because it is quite the rabbit hole we can go down when we're looking into all of this, right? There's a lot to it. I am still working on getting us a template going together. So I'm going to try to do that when I get off of here. And then I'm working with another creator on getting the way to address, the president properly, the first lady, and the higher up. So I'm still working on that, guys. It just took a little bit longer for me to get it out. And we absolutely love you, Seclusion Works. Candace just about drove me to drinking. Now there's KP. What do I do? Roxy. I hear that, right? I almost did put like a little martini in there for our pajama party, for our camera jammer pajama party. But I didn't. I'm like, if anybody needs a martini or anything like that, I can see why. That's right, Ann. We're always praying. We're always praying for our friends. Yeah, because we all need prayers, even when things are great. You're so welcome, Vic. Thank you so much. She doesn't show her face, just her feet. She was talking crazy. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, because she doesn't really show, right? I have not seen her get on there. Sometimes I've watched the videos, I think when she's like pointing the camera outwards, so you can only see like, the property and stuff. So, oh Lord. Lord help Candace and get her to tell the truth. Maybe if they give her enough to drink, she might spill the beans, like a little truth serum going. Oh, great, Roxy. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you stayed here. And I know I've been doing afternoon lives too, and sometimes in the morning. So, because I'm trying to catch more people, I know it's late night. But I'm so glad you came over for the pajama party, Roxy. So I watched Vic. I was just because I was doing a deep dive, I'm like, oh, Candace has her own channel. Oh, wow. I'm like, "Oh, great," I'm like, "How many videos does she have, and what does she say?" And, you know? Aw, thanks, Bo. Bo says, "Prayers for everyone. We all need them for something for sure." Absolutely. I agree, I agree. And then if you guys will just to, speaking of that, our little friend Aaliyah, she's going through a rare leukemia, guys. She's battling through it, and she's just as cute as she could be and as happy as she can be when this stuff isn't messing with her. But she got her second, I got an update. Says that she's got her second transplant. Today was her second transplant, and she's not good today because of the sores in her mouth and her throat. And she can barely talk, the little one, guys, and she's only 2. But her and her mama's been donating bone marrow, and so she's gotten bone marrow transplants. Take down the banner. So she's just going through it. She's just really going through it. And when she manages to smile, I get to um, get some nice updates. But I just feel for her. She's just as sweet as she can be. And I'm just hoping that these treatments work. But they're going to have to be quarantined for 100 days now, right? So hopefully they'll just have to do some blood work after this treatment and let her get her strength back, and then they'll quarantine them for 100 days. So Detroit, right? We need the pizza party. Hey, where's the pizza PJ party? I'll play it for you guys because you guys are so awesome. I asked for a White Claw and I drink it. A White Claw, that's great. All right, guys. Well, I will definitely leave you guys with that, the party as we get out of here. But thank you all so much for being here. And, you guys are right. We just all need each other to pray for each other and, good, bad, and everything. Just pray for clarity in this case, pray for answers, pray that we can all get together and figure this out. So, thank you, Anne. Thank you so much. Thank you. You guys are awesome. Thanks, Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom. Thank you, Bo. Yeah, it's just, she's just precious, guys. I used to babysit for her, and so, just such a good baby. I just, I'm glad they got her diagnosed because they were sending her home, and I'm like, it was just kind of tough getting that diagnosis. But now that they have it, they've really been aggressive and trying to help her out. But all right, guys. Well, here is our Steel Magnolias party, and I will see you all tomorrow.
Weezer, there's someone I'd like you to meet. That looks like an autopsy.
Laughter through tears is my favorite emotion. I'm so mad I don't know what to do. I want to know why. Lord, I wish I could understand. I just want to hit something. I want to hit it hard.
Here, hit this. Go ahead, Malin. Slap her. Are you crazy? Hit her.
Are you high, Clary?
We'll sell T-shirts saying I slapped Weezer Boudreaux. Hit her. Weezer, this is your chance to do something for your fellow man. Knock her lights out, Malin.
Let go of me.
But y'all don't say that.
Malin, you just missed a chance of a lifetime. Have a chickapin parish and give the eye teeth to take a whack of Weezer. You are a pig from hell. Please, I was just kidding. Come back. Oh.
Lisa, what brings you here? Shut up.
Not a very Christian thing to do. And now you gotta lighten up.
If you can't say anything nice about anybody, come sit by me.
Looks like two pigs fighting under a blanket.
A girl is fair game until there's a ring on it. And I mean a wedding ring. An engagement ring just means she's ready for one more mistake. Okay, this is perfect. Watch this.
Sometimes I wish I was smooth like Zahid. Of all the people I know, he's the best at girls.
Thanks, Weezy. That's my good piece of ass.
And that's how you do it. Now, I'm gonna go hide in the back because that guy said he's gonna kick my ass and he has a neck tattoo, so...
I am pleasant. Damn it! I just saw Drum eating in this morning at the Piggly Wiggly, and I smiled at the son of a bitch, for I could help myself.
Honey, time marches on, and eventually you realize it's marching across your face.